Mark Twain once said, "The man who represents himself has a fool for an attorney." That's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to set up and protect your baby, your business. It's your lifeblood. How do you protect that legally? And most people think, oh, I just need to go and set up an LLC on the state website, and that's it. My business is protected. Wrong, no. There's so many more steps, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be going over 4 things: some horror stories, how to set up the tax side of things, the legal side of things, and the insurance side of things, okay? So let's get started. Number 1 is some horror stories. Honestly, doesn't everybody love a good campfire horror story? I know I do. I was reading a book by Robert Kiyosaki's attorney, and he said, and he gave many, many more stories than this. You could read many horror stories from his book. Every attorney has them. He said that he was listening to, he actually had a court case where he was sitting there and the judge made his final decision. He said, "Hey, listen, I would have given the court case to you, but in this contract, it's actually missing a comma. There should be a comma right here. And because there isn't, I have to give the case to this other guy." And the guy ended up winning a couple $100,000. And this guy lost a couple $100,000 over a comma. And you might be like, what? That's total BS. I can't believe this government, the judges, they're so corrupt. Okay, that might be. Now you can go and try to solve the political problems, right? But until you do that and fix the system, this is the system that we live in. It is very litigious. There's lots of lawsuits, and so you have to protect yourself, and you have to attorney up, okay? Second story is a story of a general partnership. There was, again, these are all true stories. There was a guy, he started a partnership with one of his friends, and his friend's daughter was drunk driving, and she got in a crash, and she actually killed another family, right? It was I think like a mother and a couple of kids. Well, that family ended up suing, like the extended family sued couldn't sue the daughter because she was underage and she was drinking, so ended up suing her father and her parents, and they said, "What other assets do you have?" "Oh, wait, there's this business. It's set up as a general partnership, which doesn't have legal protection. Let's include that in the lawsuit." They ended up taking that general partnership, and this guy who was involved, it wasn't even his daughter. It was his partner's daughter. Because of her actions, he ended up losing his own business, and they ended up suing him personally as well because they just went right on through down the path because there wasn't any legal protection. It wasn't set up properly. Now that is the horror of trying to do things on your own. Now you might have watched this video and started this video thinking, "Addison, I just want to know how to set up my own business on my own so I can save a few pennies. I don't want to spend $1,000 on an attorney to set up an entity for me. I can just save the $1,000 and that way my expenses are lower, my profit is higher because I'm so smart." You might think that you're smart doing that, but trust me, from years and years of experience, you are going to save so much money by setting things up properly from the very beginning so that when a lawsuit comes, most likely you're even going to prevent a lawsuit from coming because you can say, "Yeah, you can sue us, but we have these contracts, we have this these entities set up, and this is our attorney." And they're going to say, "Actually, we don't really want to sue you." But if they find out you did it yourself and you did it wrong, and it's very easy to mess up because there are so many details, then you're going to be screwed over, okay? So what do you need to do? Now that you know, okay, I need to go to the professionals, what do I need to do? Well, before you even sit down with an attorney, you need to sit down with a CPA, okay? Look up on Google CPAs, find a CPA, get good references, sit down with a CPA and talk about your tax situation, how you can pay as little in taxes as possible. And you might say, well, I heard about this thing called an LLC. Maybe I should just set up an LLC. That isn't always the case. There are many different entities that you can set up that will be good in one situation and bad in another situation. It's like, what kind of car do you want to drive? What kind of car do you want to buy? And you're like, well, obviously I want a Ferrari. Okay, if you're going off-roading, you want a Ferrari? Well, no, I want a truck. Okay, if you're in a Formula One race, do you want a truck? No, you don't. You have different entities for different situations and different enterprises, right? If you're selling different things, different entities are going to be the best thing. So first, you're going to sit down with a CPA and you're going to go over your tax situation. Now, there are legal entities and there are tax entities, okay? Now, when you bring up a tax question to an attorney, they have no idea. And same when you bring up a legal question to a CPA, they're going to have no idea. They don't speak each other's languages. They just speak taxes. CPAs speak taxes and attorneys speak legal, okay? So you're going to sit down with your CPA and say, what tax entity is best for my situation? And he's going to write out, yeah, I would be taxed as an S Corp. I would be taxed as a C Corp. And you're going to have this entity coming over here and this entity coming over here, or just something very simple, right? He's going to give the best recommendation, okay? Then, with that, you're going to go to sit down with your attorney. That's the next step, which is sitting down with your attorney, and you're gonna present this tax entity structure and say, how do we need to set it up legally? And he's going to say, okay, great. Now you need to have this entity or this entity, and then he's going to set up the different entities. I'm not going to get into the different entities today because it's more complex. I'll probably make a video later on about the different entities. But you're going to be sitting down with the professionals, and they're going to teach you, okay? Then once you set up your entity structure, here's what your attorney is going to do for you. And you're going to pay him to do each of these steps for you. Don't do them yourself. I'm just going to say that again. Don't do these things yourself. Don't sit down with the attorney and then waste his money and then go do it yourself. You're going to do it wrong. You're going to set yourself up for liability, okay? Have them set up your entities. He'll write up an operating agreement. He'll create a corporate book, corporate minutes. Then he'll get your city license for you. And then you'll ask him, do I need any other necessary licenses? State licenses, anything. Then you're going to have him set up your customer agreements. If you need a customer agreement between you and the customer, okay? Again, that's going to be a question you're going to ask your attorney. Then you're just going to set up your employee agreements and your contractor agreements. Now, that's a lot. I have all the description below of the different things that you need to track. So then when you go into the attorney, I wish I had this list when I went into an attorney for the first time. That way, I had to do so much research, and I didn't even know what I was even trying to do when I went the first time. You're just going to bring in this list and say, okay, we need to set up the entity, operating agreement, corporate book, and you're just going to go down the list, okay? Once he has those things set up, then you're going to set up your EIN and your bank account, okay? That's it on the legal side. Now, the last step is going and sitting down with an insurance agent. And you might say, oh, I just thought I need to sit down with a CPA and an attorney, and that was it. No, there's also insurance in case your entity fails or in case you just need to use it, right? There's a customer slips, trips, and falls. Your customer slips, trips, and falls. Or an employee slips, trips, and falls. You need insurance to cover that so you're not paying out of pocket. Number one is you need general liability insurance. I just said what it was. It's in case a customer slips, trips, or falls. And that's kind of the overall. If a customer gets hurt, then your general liability insurance is there to cover the customer. Now, if you're starting out and when you get employees, then you're going to get workman's comp insurance. This isn't for contractors. They have their own insurance. You don't cover contractors' insurance. They cover their own. For employees, you have workman's comp, and that's for if an employee slips, trips, or falls, okay? Basically, if an employee gets hurt, then your insurance covers that. Then you're going to ask your insurance agent, is there any other insurance that I need? Now, You need to make sure that it's necessary. Going in and asking an insurance agent, is there anything else? Of course, they're going to give you more and more options, but you need to make sure, okay, what is this exactly for? And do I actually need it? And what are the chances of this actually happening, right? It's like do you need hurricane insurance if you're living in Kansas? Like, what are the chances that that's going to happen? But hurricane insurance in Florida, if you're just like, oh, I need the normal renter's insurance, and you don't get it, then you're going to be screwed when a hurricane comes, right? So those are the 4 steps. Well, essentially 3 steps. 1, sit down with the CPA. 2, sit down with your attorney. And 3, sit down with your insurance agent. And that's how you're going to be able to protect and set up your business legally and safely. Okay? Now, my challenge for you is go ahead and actually do these things. Don't just watch this video and be like, oh, that's a nice little video. Go and do each of these things. Sit down with each of those people. And if you're needing help setting up your business or automating your business, you're like, I need help with the other steps of the business. I have a masterclass. It's how to start and automate your business, $100,000 a month. Okay, if you're wanting to make $100,000 a month, go ahead, take my masterclass below. I have the link below and register for it. And then I will see you on the course.